Greetings. As I mentioned to you in the introduction to the course, which most of you have seen, there are some basic tools that you may or may not have had in your earlier economics courses. And let's try to get all on the same page here. The first tool is the circular flow of economic activity. This has been developed for many years, the first of which was by Francois Quesnay, his Tableau Économique. Francois was a good friend of Adam Smith. Francois Quesnay was called a physiocrat, and physiocrats emphasize the importance of agriculture. Anyways, let's begin with the household, which is on the left side, because that's what it's all about. Households, which are comprised of people, of course, family and non-family gatherings of people, are the supplier of all productive resources, not just labor, all productive resources, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. This is kind of an awkward fourfold classification, but it's the one that's used in the discipline today and should have been probably brushed up and improved, but hasn't. So land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Some households have all four. Others are just laborers. Few are just capitalists, etc. Now, not only are they the supplier of productive resources, they also are the most important demander of goods and services produced in the economy. And when households buy these goods and services, most of them are called personal consumption expenditures, but they do make capital expenditures, such as housing. Later on, we will discuss the distinction between the definitions the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System uses in what we call the flow of funds accounts, what the Department of Commerce uses in what we call the national income product accounts, because the definitions are different and sometimes have a major difference of opinion over things. Anyways, the households are responsible for personal consumption expenditures, which range as high as 60-70% of total demand at times. So therefore, it's very important. Those consumption expenditures include services like healthcare services, non-durables like food, and durable goods like automobiles. Distinction between durables and non-durables is a 3-year life, approximately a 3-year life. Now, where do those goods and services come from? They come from the firm, which is on the right-hand side of the circular flow. The firms are simply the place where production occurs. They are not the owners, they're not the entrepreneurs, they're not the laborers. They're the place where, and don't confuse it, the place where production occurs. What is production? Production is the combination of those resources supplied by the households into useful goods and services, one group of which we've already seen are the personal consumption expenditures, but they also produce capital goods, the demand for which is called investment, etc. Now that's on the right-hand side. Now they interface each other in two places. If you go to the top, they interface each other in what we call the market, a market. But these markets are the markets for goods and services, the product markets. Consumer goods, capital goods, government or public goods, etc. They face each other. In this market, in this set of markets, the households are the demanders and the firms are the suppliers. But in order for that production to occur, let's go down to the bottom of the circular flow. Now we see the households and firms interfacing each other, but in what are called the productive resource markets, sometimes the inputs that go into production. And here, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship are supplied by the households to the firms. Now remember, the firm is not the entrepreneur nor the capitalist. The firm is the place where.